Today, I'm going to reveal my top strategies for overcoming imposter syndrome so you can stop feeling like a fraud and start owning your successes confidently. Hi, welcome back to another segment of Triple T, where I reveal my top tips and tricks to help you excel at work and reach your highest potential. I'm Allie, and today I'm going to share my top strategies for overcoming imposter syndrome. I wanted to talk about this topic today because I'm finding that more and more people are struggling with feeling like an imposter at work. In fact, one review in 2019 found that up to 82% of people have experienced feeling like an imposter at some point in their lives. And as someone who used to struggle with this all the time, I can tell you it's an awful feeling. You feel as if everything you've achieved was due to sheer dumb luck and that you're nothing more than a fraud. As a result, you're constantly living in fear and setting these extremely unrealistic expectations for yourself in hopes that no one will ever discover your secret. The problem with this approach is that it's draining and puts unnecessary pressure on you to be flawless all the time. So it brings up the question of how can you limit these feelings of not being good enough, while at the same time demonstrate your worth and ability to succeed without burning yourself to the ground in the process. As you can imagine, this isn't an easy feat, but with the right tools, time, and a little bit of effort, it can be done. And to help you achieve this, I'm going to share some strategies that I've used to help people, and even myself, conquer their imposter syndrome. Before I reveal these strategies, I'm curious to know, have you ever felt like an imposter? What did you do to conquer these feelings? I know you have some great things to share, so don't be shy and let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and grab a drink, and we'll get started. Tip 1, deep dive. Before we cover any of the other tips, it's important that you first take a deep dive to not only acknowledge that you feel like an imposter, but why you feel like an imposter. Understanding your why is going to make it a lot easier for you to identify your own personal triggers that make you feel like an imposter. So, be honest with yourself. Why do you feel like a fraud? Is it because you feel like you should have the answers to every problem or that everything should come easy to you? By asking these questions and being honest with yourself, it's going to be a lot easier for you to let go of these feelings of being a fraud and start taking action to address imposter syndrome properly. Tip 2, find a relatable mentor. One of the reasons why people feel like imposters is because they feel like they're the only ones going through this experience. But as I said in the intro, everyone experiences imposter syndrome at some point in their career. They just don't openly talk about it. So, to overcome your feelings of being a fraud, you need to find a mentor who can relate to you and your current experiences. This person needs to not only be supportive and encouraging of what you do, but needs to be in a place in their career that you can realistically reach in a couple of years. This is because this type of mentor is going to have a better understanding of what you're going through, be more willing to be honest about their own experiences, and be better at putting these feelings into perspective for you. As you can imagine, finding this type of mentor is a lot more difficult than it sounds, and it's quite frankly outside the scope of this video. So if this is something that you're interested in, then be sure to watch this video next, where I reveal my top tips for finding a great mentor. Otherwise, if you want to stop feeling like a fraud, then you need to find a mentor, and a relatable one at that. Tip 3, stop comparing. When you're constantly surrounded by successful people at work and through social media, it's easy to dismiss your own accomplishments and feel like a fraud. But you have to remember that what you see is a curated snapshot of what these people want you to see. They don't reveal the struggles and hardships they went through to reach their achievements. Meanwhile, you have a front row seat ticket to every flaw, every mistake you've ever made, which only further fuels this ongoing battle of feeling like a fraud. That's why you need to break this habit of comparing yourself to other people. There is no use basing your actions and feelings on an incomplete picture. Instead, you need to focus on your own personal progress and unique strengths. That's what's going to help you see your value and overcome any feelings of being an imposter. I know this can be quite challenging for people with imposter syndrome, so I recommend that you meet with your mentor so they can help you identify what makes you unique and keep you focused on yourself and not others. Tip 4, devise a plan of attack. One of the reasons why people develop imposter syndrome in the first place is because they have these negative thoughts cycling through their heads that feeds into their insecurities. So, if you're going to conquer these feelings of being an imposter, then you need to address these thoughts head on by devising a plan of attack. You see, your thoughts are like a broken record, so use that to your advantage. Grab a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. In the left column, write down every negative thought you tell yourself whenever you feel like an imposter. Then, in the right column, write a response to that negative thought. Your responses need to be reframed from a positive or opportunistic standpoint. If you have a tendency to say irrational statements, then debunk that thought by providing factual reasons why that thought isn't true. For example, if you're someone who typically says, "I'm never going to be qualified for this job," then provide some reasons why that's not true. Write down all the certifications you have. Mention all the projects you've completed. Be your own lawyer and demonstrate why these statements are incorrect. Once you have these down, make sure you say it to yourself when you have a negative thought. By doing this, by devising a plan of attack, you can stop those negative thoughts you have in its tracks, break this vicious self-deprecating cycle you're in, and start feeling assured that you're not a fraud. Tip 5, be a mentor. Okay, so earlier I said you needed to find a mentor. Now you need to be a mentor. You struggle with imposter syndrome because you have a tough time seeing how much you've grown since being in this career. And one of the best ways to fix this is by mentoring others. Mentoring is not only a great way to build connections with other like-minded people, but it will give you the opportunity to see how far you've come in the past couple of years. So, mentor people who are trying to reach the position you're in right now. Use your experiences to steer them in the right direction. You'd be surprised about what things you know that they don't. By doing this, you'll be able to see clearly how much progress you've made and prove that you're anything but an imposter. Tip 6, stop being humble. People who struggle with imposter syndrome have a habit of downplaying their accomplishments to others. Part of the reason why is because society has decided that to be a decent human being, you need to express humility and humbleness. That's why in interviews you'll often find top experts and celebrities reduce their accomplishments to luck rather than hard work and dedication. But the problem with this is that if we do this all the time, then at some point we're going to unconsciously start believing the things we say. So you need to toss the rule book and stop being overly humble. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging your wins in front of others. Obviously, this doesn't mean you need to go full throttle cocky either. If your achievement relates to a team effort, then be sure to acknowledge everyone's efforts. Just don't do it in a way that makes it sound as if they covered for you or made up for what you lack. So, long story short, if you want to get over imposter syndrome, then stop being humble all the time. There's a time and place to be humble, but that doesn't mean you should deny yourself the satisfaction of owning your accomplishments. Tip 7, celebrate. Going off the last tip, if you want to overcome imposter syndrome, then you need to not only start owning your accomplishments, but also rewarding yourself when you achieve these moments. That means you need to take some time out of your day to celebrate both your big and small wins. Now, obviously you can't go out to dinner for every little win that you have. So try to create a reward system for when you reach certain milestones. You can treat yourself to your favorite drink or a short 10-minute break at work. You'd be surprised how effective small gestures like these are for getting rid of imposter syndrome. So do yourself a favor and get into the habit of celebrating your wins, even the small ones. It's a great way to demonstrate that you're qualified at what you do and that you're far from being a fraud. And there you have it, my best strategies for conquering imposter syndrome. Follow these tips to a T and you'll feel more confident about your abilities and have no problems owning up to your achievements. Now, I found that one of the reasons why people have imposter syndrome is because they lack confidence. If this is something you relate to, then I highly suggest you watch this video next, where I reveal my top tips for boosting confidence. And before you click away, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell right there. It helps me get my videos out there and lets you know when I release new content. Otherwise, it's been great having you today. Until we drink again, take it easy. Bye. I forgot what these are. It's a thick shortbread, but it looks like it has a little bit of a jam filling, though I'm not gonna lie, I can't taste it that much, so let's try again. Mango. It's mango. Hopefully I'm right about that. What are you eating right now? If you're eating a snack right now, then make sure to let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, take it easy, everyone.